So before everyone wanders away, I'd like to tell you about all the places Unix will go. In the grand tradition of Dr. Seuss and his book, Oh, the Places You'll Go, this is a read-along. I'm going to read the text that's on the slides. I know that annoys some people. Get over it. Oh, the places Unix will go will start from its birth, a replacement for Multics, a system of great girth. The Uniplexed Information and Computing Service, Unix for short, a programmer's workbench, not much of import. It started off life on the PDP-7, unnamed until it reached the PDP-11. With 16-bit, mostly orthogonal instruction set, this little-used machine did Unix beget. The system grew to fit several needs: research, word processing, and space travel deeds. The system took form on the PDP-11, the oldest machine to run Unix v7. But assembly code is hard to maintain, and with Unix came something to ease the pain. Complex systems must use assembly for everything, they cried, but the C programming language cast that claim aside. Unix was written in C by V8, and with it, the chance for Unix to migrate. Ritchie and Thompson presented Unix to all in 1973, but Bell couldn't monetize it because of a 1956 consent decree. So Unix was shipped on magnetic tapes and all sorts of media in all sorts of shapes. The source was available on an as-is basis. Find a copy of Lions, and we're off to the races. Unix for teaching and educational use, version 6 set Unix's commercial side loose. Development was quick and the patches released, sometimes without letting the attorneys say their piece. Unix was on a deck, but Bell lads felt restricted. Bell bought an Interdata 832 to see deck evicted. And then Unix ran on a VM 370 guest, UNIVAC 1100, and Intel 8086 with a custom MMU blessed. Near the end of the 70s, Unix showed up in places. It even brought smiles to ARPA's faces. But the 1980s would start Unix's spiral, for that is when plucky Unix went viral. Oh, the places Unix will go to thousands of sites. They were even noticed by the magazine Byte. Companies may support other operating systems, it's true, but a Unix implementation always happens to be able, probably two. 16 architectures and 60 different vendors, each of them hoping to be a contender. Onyx released Unix for the Zilog C8002, and Microsoft Xenix and SCO came into view. Bill Joy co-founded Sun in '82, before and after many long years of BSD-foo, which leads me to name the first Unix schism, Unix System 5, or BSD-isms. Other projects Unix will start, though not by intent. Some regarded proprietary Unix with discontent, so rewrite it they did and did not retreat until the GNU versions were feature complete. The GNU project even surpassed their faults with better handling and correcting the faults, better performance and features in so many cases, and better portability to hundreds of places. Now for a brief pause for a blessing from St. Ignatius. Oh, the places Unix will go in the decade of flannel, workstations galore and raised floor panels. Just about everyone made a Unix back then. Hell, BSD probably accounted for 10. HP UX, AIX, Ultrix, Erix, NextStep, SunOS, OSF1, UNIXware, BSD, VNix, Xenix, Minix, just try to rhyme any of those. Unix blossomed and Unix bloomed. Unix became part of every server room, but Unix still cost a few pretty pennies, and one proprietary license is one license too many. Oh, the places Unix will go, at least its philosophy, using small bits of code linked via piped methodology. Computers without a capable MMU were still able to run with some tools from GNU. Mint is not TOS and building Atari STs. Amiga 3000 UX ran Emix with ease. POSIX brought Unix-like stuff to Windows brethren. Whatever the hell were they thinking back then? Oh, the places Unix will go and lead on eternal, especially with some variant of the Linux kernel. For what we call Unix is lately Unix inside, something I'm sure BSD folks will deride. For back in the 90s, there was such frustration. Unix's license was commercial and education. So Linus wrote out his kernel with a peak and released it as Linux. Yes, GNU Linux, please do not freak. His kernel went through Usenet, and so it appears we all learned that Libre is not free as in beers. It spread through the world like a field of poppies and caused some of us to use all the floppies. Thank God for those guys in those days. Oh, the places Unix will go leading to Y2K, Google, Yahoo, and even eBay. The last thing a struggling.com would need is software vendors' mouth to feed. Apple flirted with Unix in several iterations, but it struck a deal to bring jobs innovations. Apple bought Next Step and began the conversion from Mac OS system to a Darwin-based version. Mac OS 10, that's 10 as I've been told, brought the Mac to the Unix-based fold, and with it a standard that hit all desktops, which turned their gray buttons into lickable gumdrops. Other places Unix will go with Linux proliferation. Most embedded systems have a Unix relation. Android and iOS have Unix-based cores, and most consumer-grade routers sold in the stores. TiVo and some Linux TVs are Linux-based. Plain entertainment systems use its interface. Raspberry Pi, the chip and BeagleBone boards, SBCs, mini PCs, and even chessboards. Although if you find one of those, let me know, because I couldn't find one online. Oh well. Unix is used on devices in space, and right here displaying this natty watch face. Linux powers my sound system at home and probably runs on my office phone. Oh, the places Unix will go, and we would be remiss if we didn't mention those who took the piss. Unix has its detractors and claims Unix stunted operating systems perfection affronted, to which I say bullshit and point to the facts. You could run VMS or Unix on a VAX. Folks had the option to run whatever they pleased, and Unix would have died if it were diseased. Sure, Unix isn't perfect, that much is clear, but please pull your head from your rear. Unix's portability made an attractive choice, and easy scripting made sysadmins rejoice. Say that fast 5 times. Oh, the places Unix will go, there's no end in sight. There's new things with Unix released tonight. I'm confident that the distinction with how Unix goes is whether it runs Unix or is stocked with Windows. So whether it's Linux, Macintosh, Solaris, or GNU, Darwin, Android, or iOS 2, BSD variants of all different stripes, HPUX, or even Cygwin types, I want to invite you all to bring Unix along and make whatever you make more awesome and strong. Unix came a long way and has further to go, so turn up the lights and on with the show. Thank you.
Very good. Somebody had too much time on his hands.